Now for the real deal, New England feel.
I went up the rail. My wife told me I would be ashamed of myself.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
Corso and Catone.
Welcome into Corso and Catone, the real deal New England feel. I'm Corso. Catone is here. Joe's with us in the booth. You are watching us on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe. Give us that thumbs up when you're on YouTube, watching our shows, the shorts, the short reels. Everything's those are becoming real popular. Leave a comment, but make sure you're subscribing and giving us that thumbs up, that like. But if you're listening to us, you're doing it on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, 790 The Score. Anywhere you podcast, you can catch us. And make sure you send us an email on our mailbag, corso.catone@gmail.com. Or you can talk to us. Call us in our heated hotline. Leave us a message 24/7, 855-313-PATS, P-A-T-S. Joe will pick one of these things that he likes, put it on the show. Let's let it be yours. Hey, we got not a lot of topics tonight, but got a lot to talk about. Yankees versus Red Sox.
A lot to talk about. Oh, my God.
Well, most of the show is going to be baseball today, everyone, so buckle up for that. And, of course, Catone's comments. Stick around for that. He's looking nice and tan today, and, he's got some color on his face. Mark, and going to talk some B's and C's as well, talk NBA Finals and so on. Hi, guys.
Hey. What's going on, guys?
How you doing, Mark?
Oh, just wonderful. Wonderful.
You look great.
Look, we pulled him in right from the sun to get him right onto the show.
He's out there fishing in Nantucket or something.
Fishing. Yeah, I don't fish. Me fish. I don't fish. Fish.
Well, what the hell? You got to tell everybody how you come with this nice color you got there, nice tan.
I was outside today doing stuff. I don't know. What the hell do I know in Nantucket?
It's pretty good, Joe. One day.
That's it doesn't take much for me.
I gotta say, it's been like 100 out today.
I don't do Nantucket. Yeah. Well, what do you think? I'm like Belichick.
You can see him, if he's hanging around over there in Nantucket. Ask him a few questions from me, You can get his autograph, There
you go.
So, I don't want his. I'll get the girlfriend's autograph. How's that?
Yeah. He's still thinking about that. He's still thinking about that Diggs boat video, I think.
He was on the boat, looks like.
I was on the boat, but I didn't have what he had on the boat. I tried.
What do you say, guys? Want to talk a little baseball? Want to talk a little drama? Red Sox and Yankees? What do you think?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's do Yankees versus Red Sox. Joe?
Saying if they ask you to DH, you won't do it?
No. I played third. He has a lot of pride. We know that, and he feels like he's a third baseman. It's not about Bregman or Devers or Cora. It's about the Red Sox, right?
He said, quote, I just want to help the team win. It's been kind of sad that I've been put out there as someone who's bad for the organization.
It's under him, and Casas goes down in the heat, and he twisted his ankle through the bag.
And this is not looking good.
We'll talk about the Raffy first base thing. Have you had any conversations with him about it?
No.
Don't plan to?
No. I'm not saying we'll never have that conversation, but I think for now, where we at, I like Rafi as a DH.
They can't expect me to play, every single position out there. They already asked me to change once, and this time I don't think I can be as flexible. I don't understand some of the decisions that the GM makes. He played ball, and I would like to think that he knows that changing positions like that isn't easy. I don't feel that they stay true to their word.
John Henry, Sam Kennedy, and Craig Breslow flew to Kansas City today. Henry met with Rafael Devers one-on-one.
And he hurt himself. Oh, no. A nightmare for the Red Sox. Caught in between Bregman. It looks like he might have tweaked or pulled something going around first base.
Who else are you comfortable with at third?
At third, Sadan.
Everybody but Devers.
Third, so you play third, Tor can play third.
Hey, Rafi, we need you tonight over on first base. Then you feel like he would be available and ready to go.
I did not say that either.
And it is gone over
over the red line. It is out of here for Devers.
It has to make Devers feel a lot better.
All the drama, distractions, all that stuff is behind you and behind the team from earlier.
That's the best one. Yeah, that's fast.
It's a little compilation there of the Devers Red Sox saga as it went down, the last several months.
You forget all of that went down since spring training. Well, really, since the Bregman signing, right?
Yeah. So Devers, as everybody knows, is gone now. He's in San Francisco playing for the Giants. Mark, we've heard so much all week, back and forth, and who's responsibility and all this, and so first, why did this happen? I mean,
I'm assuming. Listen, here's what I understand. People have different things. It was about the money and all of this, and I get that. I get that, but I have to also believe, Chris, that at some point, Cora must have said to management, listen, he's not good for the kids, the young guys in this clubhouse. You want me to try to build a young team for you? You're going to have to get rid of him because this isn't working anymore. We're trying, but he's going to go, right? He's just, it's a bad look. It's bad for the rookie, like the young kids. He's going to go, right? I have to think it got to a point where Cora might have made that call, Chris, and said, listen, he's going to go. And then they did what they did. Granted, John Henry loves the fact that they got rid of a $300 million contract. He instantaneously gets under the tax, right? So he's under the threshold. You know what I mean? He loves that. That saved him, right? But I have to think Cora, who was a player's manager, right? I think he looked at the good of the whole and said, look, Rafi's a great player, but he's going to go now because now it's a bad look for the rest of these young guys who have and I can't have this. I have to think he played a role in this at this point, Chris, even though at the beginning, I don't think he necessarily agreed with what they were doing with Devers. I think maybe he didn't have a problem with him battling it out with Bregman. But I think management probably said to him, no, Bregman's the third baseman. We just, I don't know.
Yeah, look.
As a baseball manager, wouldn't you let two guys battle it out? The best player plays third. The one who doesn't win the position DHs.
Cora is in the camp. Cora's never been in the camp of the management of the team. He's pissed off at the team. He's pissed off at management.
He is.
He wants veteran players on this team. He doesn't want young guys, and that's why he went out there and he brought for the world to see Roman Anthony taking outfield drills in front of the media. It was an intentional thing to throw at the management to say, hey, you know what? This is what you give me. You give me guys that can't even play in the outfield. They can't even field a ground ball in the outfield without making an error. We got to do this stuff at the major league level. That's not a guy that's on the side of management. This guy was on Devers' side. I think Cora is
he was, Chris, but I don't know if they make this deal without Cora's blessing because I don't
think they can.
I don't think they do, but I think at this point, Chris, Cora might have went ballistic. Like Cora usually would give a dig. Well, I didn't. Cora would say right out, well, I didn't agree with it. You know what I mean? He didn't say anything like that because he would. He don't give a shit. He would say it.
John Henry, this is a guy saying this is the right move for the wrong reason.
Okay, explain.
They did this for money. They did this because this was the only team that was going to eat the whole $250 million salary until 2023 was what in year 2 or 3 of it?
Yeah.
$30 million per year, and they were taking the whole thing. That's when John Henry said, "Dupe, done. Do this. I don't want this guy in the clubhouse. Blah blah blah. I don't want to pay that salary." It was a stupid contract to begin with. It was an overreaction to the Mookie Betts and the Bogarts thing because they let those two guys go because they can't seem to get their ship in order over there and retain guys because they're cheap. And they overreacted and paid a DH a lot of money that you probably shouldn't be paying a DH Okay,
But
I mean,
but
honestly,
at the time he was a third baseman.
yeah, but he sucks
still,
as the third baseman. That was an overreaction. I mean, if you do the Mookie Betts thing, you're not dealing any of this.
Chris, let me ask you a question.
This is about money.
No, I get that, and I get you said that they were willing to take the whole salary, but let me ask you this. So why don't
Because I think there was another deal out there.
No, but why don't you wait a month until the trade deadline? You mean to tell me at the trade deadline, somebody wouldn't have been willing to give you maybe a better deal, better prospects, better players, and pick up the salary?
Are you willing to risk it?
It's only another month.
Are you willing to risk it if you're Henry? No. He doesn't care. He's not, plus he's spit in his face. This whole cult, it just pisses me off when you listen to the reasons and all that stuff, as to why it happened. That's the thing that irritates the hell out of me. When you hear things like this.
In terms of what was missing, it just was that alignment in terms of what we felt we needed that would be in the absolute best interest of the ball club. That's a non-starter for us. We have to have that. We couldn't get there, and as Brez said, maybe we need to look back at things we could have handled better. But it's definitely a two-way street.
It's not that this was the best deal that we could get, because the best deal that we could get may not necessarily be good enough to trade a player like Rafael Devers. But when you consider all of the factors here, this is the one that made sense. This is the path that we went down. And so we ended up where we did. We've talked a lot about, for some reason, this team, being an example where the whole was not greater than the sum of the parts, and being great teammates and sacrificing and stepping up for each other and embodying this shared vision. We believe that those are principles that we need to be faithful to, and so at the end of the season, I think we could look back and say we've won more games than we otherwise would have because of the way that this roster is now able to come together.
Who's that, Elliot Wolf?
Yeah, exactly, Joe. Exactly. So that was Sam Kennedy and Craig Breslow.
So let me ask you.
Every time I hear Breslow talk, Mark, I want to take this pen and I want to stab my friggin' eyeballs out. Every single time I listen to that clown. Take
it easy.
Listen, take it easy.
Ever played baseball? That ever actually played the game before?
Breslow did.
Does it sound like a guy that ever did?
No. So listen. So the key, though, Chris, he says it. They said when they were talking about the deal, could we have gotten a different deal, a better deal, blah, blah. But he makes the comment in there, somewhere in there, Chris, about, this was the best thing for the team at this time. Because you're right, Chris. When you listen to what he says, he doesn't say it. It's because nobody else was picking up that contract, and they picked up the whole contract. Could we have gotten a better deal? Well, maybe. Well, yeah, because you could have gotten better players, but nobody was picking up the contract.
There was reports of a deal that they had. They were going to take up some of the contract, and the Red Sox were going to have to eat some of it too. You would have got better prospects back, better players back. Henry, they didn't care about that.
No.
They wanted the money gone. So this was an opportunity. This was an opportunity that fell on ownership's lap because Devers,
So listen.
Because Devers is a stooge.
And then he brings up being a teammate and the sum of the whole is more than the parts and
that C word that I hate so much.
C word, right?
Culture.
So you mean to tell me if when they went to Rafi and said, Raf, you gotta go, can you play first? When Cassis got hurt, if Devers says, yeah, I'll play first base, what are they making it seem like? Well, he'd still be here? I don't know if that's true. Because they were talking about what are they going to do with him as soon as they got Bregman. So are they making it sound like, well, the only reason we got rid of him is because he wouldn't play first base for us? He wasn't a team guy. If he had moved to first base and became the full-time first baseman, we would.
So you think they maneuvered for this? You think that they kind of manipulated this situation to make Devers look like a real jerk, and now we can move him?
I think he was a jerk in this situation.
Well, yeah, he is a jerk.
But I do think they manipulated it absolutely a little bit. Sure, they did, Chris. Sure, so they could move him. Listen, so you've traded. No, 2018, you win the World Series, right?
Mm-hmm.
On that team, from that team, you get rid of Betts, Bogarts leaves, you trade Sale, who wins a Cy Young, and oh, by the way, in the last month, his ERA is 1.07 again. In the last month of baseball that he's been pitching for Atlanta. And now you get rid of Rafael Devers. Do you know how many major league players you have on your roster right now from those four guys? No, listen, those four guys. Yeah. You know how many guys you got in the locker room right now from losing those four guys? Zero.
Right.
Zero.
Now the guys they got for them?
How the hell's that possible, Chris? Zero for four guys that were all stars?
Right. Listen, Betts, Devers, Sale. You got back Verdugo, Downs, Connor Wong, Jordan Hicks, Harrison, Kyle Harrison, James Tibbs, Jose Bello, Vaughn Grissom. That's what they got back. There it is.
Chris,
your point.
That's an embarrassment.
No, it's a cheat. It's I don't want to be a big market team. But you are a big market team. Well, I'm sorry, but you are a big market team.
So then,
even though you don't want to behave like one.
But then, Chris, he made the comment. I believe in what was it the clip you just played, or was it another clip that he's talking about? You know, there's a good chance we end up with more wins at the end than we would have.
Yeah.
One. Okay.
Yeah.
So
delusional.
Here's the thing, though, Chris. So take the Tampa Bay Rays. So the Rays are fighting for the wild card. Anytime a player for the Rays develops into an all-star, wants a contract, they're gone. The shortstop, Adames, gone. A Rosarina, traded, gone. Anytime they get a guy that can become a big money pitcher, the pitcher ends up with the Dodgers. Anytime they get one of those guys, they're gone, right? David Price at the time, gone. The Rays don't keep him. So the Red Sox are basically following that model. And hey, maybe they just beat the Yankees. They're playing better baseball. Maybe they sneak in as a wild card. They are nowhere near a World Series threat. They're not going to be. But if they sneak into a wild card, that's all management wants.
That's all they want.
We're competitive. But they're not going to be a championship team anymore, Chris. They're going to be like the Rays. The Rays might sneak in as a wild card, and they're going to get their head kicked in when they get in. They ain't going to win anything. But that's okay. That's Tampa plays that way. That's their market. To your point, that's not our market. It shouldn't be. But this is what they've become, Chris. This is what they're modeling themselves after. Now,
did you hear what they say about, I was going to get the break. You hear what they say, what he was saying about the timing too and the money?
Yeah.
Of this?
Timing was absolutely not
timing
great. And we don't always have the choice about when these things kind of reach the point of execution outside of we absolutely could have, walked away or said, we're not going to make this trade, but we do ultimately believe that it was best for the organization. And I don't think it's fair to say that, our performance was solely because of Rafi any more than to say, a number of these games that we've won over the first, couple months, have been because of the offensive contributions that he's made. But I do think, as we think about the identity and the culture and the environment that is created by great teams, there was something amiss here.
Having the other team assume the entire balance of Rafael Devers' contract, was that a condition of making a deal with the team?
No, I can answer that. No. We were trying to
that's BS.
The long and short term outlooks. We were trying to provide.
I can't listen to how he talks.
And we were trying to make.
Listen to the way he talks.
We could.
Oh my God! Listen to the way these guys talk. Like. How are you even a professional anything? This dude was a professional baseball player.
Yeah.
Then he talked about his experience, his World Series experience. Like, I was part of the team. Was it 2013 or whatever it was? I was part of the team, He pitched like 7 innings. He pitched like 7 games, 7 innings, and he get like 7 walks. I mean, this guy is the biggest dork nerd robot, okay, that you're going to possibly find. And every time I hear him, I want to stab my friggin' own eyeballs. I swear to God, Mark, with this clown.
Yeah.
He wanted to cut the money.
Chris, listen, So now you got these three young guys. You got Anthony.
Well, hold that because we're going to talk
okay.
about the state. What do we do with now? What's the state of the Red Sox now? So when we come back, but this portion of Yankees versus Red Sox was presented by the Patch Nation Sundays, 8 a.m. Eastern. Hey, we got Patriots talk all the time, mini camp, OTAs. We're talking a corner room tomorrow, so make sure you stick around and listen to that. But when we come back, we're going to talk more about this Red Sox debacle. No flipping.
Sundays are for football, and here in New England, that means it's the Pats Nation with Corso and Catone. Sundays, 8 to 9 a.m.
Back in with more Corso and Catone, the real deal, New England feel. All right, Mark. So can I let you just 8 seconds of something? This will go right up your ass when you hear this. This is Rafael Devers introduced to the media in San Fran.
I'm here to give my 100%. I don't put any buts. They're the men in charge. I am here to play wherever they want me to play.
That was staged.
I'm going to do whatever they want me to do.
Listen, they said the manager said he'll be fielding balls at first base. He'll probably play some first base for us. The manager said it.
Yeah. Yeah, and he got two hits in his first game. He put one off the wall, a double for the game-winning run. Yeah. Why can't the Sox get plays like that? All right, so now they do this, okay, and people can debate why they did it and what the motivation was. I think it's all about the salary. And the next great player they bring up, this Roman Anthony becomes something special.
He'll be
good. They're gonna deal him too. It's not gonna make a difference.
Because now that now that these guys have seen what happened to Devers, okay, you don't think that these guys they got agents? You don't think their agents are telling them, look what they did with Betts, look what they did with Bogarts, look what they did with Sale, look what they just did with Devers. Like, you don't think these guys got agents? They're telling them, guys, once you hit a threshold here, we're going to have to go get the money somewhere else because they ain't going to pay it, or they're going to trade you.
Well, listen, I mean, you had a guy like McWilliams, okay, for CBS Sports. Okay, used to write for the Red Sox as well, for the Globe or wherever he wrote for. And he was talking about what a mess this team is what he had to say.
You have players looking around saying, what are we doing? Players talk, right? Players talk around the league, and around the league, the general opinion on the Red Sox is that it's a mess, and that they don't know what they're doing. This doesn't happen with the Dodgers. This doesn't happen with the Giants. This doesn't happen with the Yankees. But there always seems to be something in Boston that makes it, for at least the last 6-7 years, that makes it sort of this laughing stock. And you can't have that in a premier market like this.
Yeah, to your point.
The other piece of it is, Chris, he brings up another good point. It's not only internally, you're around the league, you're kind of like a laughing stock. So how do you, even if you wanted to spend some money, what free agent's coming here? Who wants to play here? What player, if he can get the same amount of money somewhere like with the Dodgers or the Yankees, the Mets, why is that player coming here when it looks like it's a clown show running this place?
It is a clown show. And did you hear the story about the organization? And we have a clip from June Lee, and we'll play it in a second. But how about the story with the scout that gets fired by Breslow?
Because he left the hot mic on during the Zoom.
So they were having a Zoom meeting, and this
was the Zoom. That was the. So first of all, Chris, get to that in 2 seconds. So first of all, you trade this guy who's an all-star, the best player on your team. I don't care what they say, right? You do it on a Sunday afternoon, on a getaway day at 5-6 o'clock. Father's Day, by the way. And then, Chris, the next day, you schedule an 8 o'clock Zoom meeting with reporters because while you're sitting out in Seattle, why couldn't you have a 10 a.m. press conference in person and then jumped on a plane and got out to Seattle? I mean, what are you kidding me? Really? Like, it's such a clown show.
It is.
And to your point, Chris, during this Zoom meeting, tell everybody what happened.
Yeah, so I guess they're having the Zoom in. This was with because they kept talking about Breslo's has grown increasingly insulated. Okay, This was June Lee. Who's he right for us? NBC Sports Boston. He starts talking about increasingly insulated. Multiple sources within the organization describe the front office losing cohesion. Staffers who helped build 4 championships now feel like they're out of the operation. The collaborative spirit once defined Red Sox baseball operations is now frayed. Now, they're having a Zoom meeting with, and Carl, is it Moshe? Is it Moish?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, he's the Red Sox scouting was the Red Sox scouting supervisor and team employee since 2017. So they're on this Zoom call, and he thought this guy, Moish or whatever, Carl, thought that the Zoom call had ended. And as the meeting wrapped up, his voice cut through a quiet moment and says, "Thanks, Brez, you effing stiff." He calls, "Thanks, Brez, you effing stiff." And then the word, obviously, those words landed like a grenade, it said, and Breslow fired him.
Yes, of course he did.
So, this is the kind of crap this is going on there. I mean, I don't hear.
So we're not making this up. I mean,
McWilliams is right. I don't hear this from other places. No,
it's bad. Listen, it's bad. It is bad. It's bad, right?
And then
how about? Well, it may come up in June's clip. So
let's play that. This is June Lee from NBC Sports Boston, who has he's broken a lot of stuff in this about this debacle. So here it is.
Happening with the Red Sox, with Sam Kennedy, with Craig Breslow, with Alex Cora, is a state of organizational dysfunction. And I think that there's this, I heard last night after I reported this piece and it went out about an interview with the Red Sox were trying to recruit a member, a new person for their baseball operations department. And during this interview process, the entire interview was conducted with an AI bot where you would record the answers to the questions.
Chris doesn't know what
and
that
then
is.
The Red Sox would then evaluate them. And this wasn't just one round. It wasn't just 2 rounds. It was 5 rounds of interviews where this person did not talk to another person in the Red Sox organization. What he told me was that the gap between the field, the people skills of Andrew Friedman, who obviously relies a lot on numbers dating back to his time in Tampa Bay, and what he dealt with Craig Breslow was so far apart that it seemed like utterly delusional, that the idea that this is what the Red Sox think the Dodgers are doing is just absolutely crazy. Like, the gap between the 2 organizations and how they're trying to function is just miles and worlds apart.
So 5 rounds of interviews with an AI bot, or is that what you call it? Bot?
Okay.
Yeah, you got it.
Chris, what is
how do you
what?
How can you I mean, how's that defensible? And today, we're recording on Thursday. Something came out. I didn't see it. I haven't seen the article, but they responded to that.
Okay,
the Red Sox.
What did they say?
And I think it was, I mean, I didn't see the actual quote or what they released. But it was along the lines of, this is one of many tools that are used in our process, and the process of this and the process of that. I mean, did you hear the other cut? We didn't play it on the show, but did you hear them? It's sort of like they all got their talking points too. And you heard it a little bit when we played Kennedy and Breslow, and they all get their talking points. And what was the word they were using, Mark? What was the word they were using? And they just kept saying it. Alignment. That's what it was.
Yeah,
alignment. They were not aligned. There's an alignment, and because of the alignment wasn't really there. Alignment. You must have said it about 64 times. You see it in the media all the time. When they get their talking points, and then everybody's saying the same crap.
Yep.
They're robots. That's who's handling this organization, Mark. That's who's right?
It's bad. It's really bad. Like, and the guy, June makes the point of saying, Chris, that he said a guy that has knowledge of the Red Sox and the Dodgers said that if the Red Sox think that this is how the Dodgers run their organization, they're worlds apart from what the Dodgers are doing, because the Dodgers aren't doing this. This is, and he mentions in the story, this is Tampa Bay Ray garbage. This is what organizations like that do. These small organizations, it's all the analytics and the numbers and AI bots and all this other nonsense, right? And you could have named 2 guys on the Rays, and the league couldn't. The guys, people around the league couldn't name 2 guys on that team. And the Red Sox, I mean, it's going to get to a point, Chris, where other than a couple of young guys, you're not going to know who the hell's on this team. Because I'm going to tell you something right now, Chris. Duran's going to go at the trade deadline. I'm telling you right now. Duran is going to go at the trade deadline, especially if they keep winning, maybe not. But if they go into a losing streak before the deadline and they go back to 7 or 8 games out of the wild card, I'm telling you, Duran's going too.
Well, McWilliams agrees with you.
I think so. I think he did have to go. I think he wanted to go too. I think Devers was checked out. And if you got a guy that's checked out, even though he's put up the numbers that he's doing, that he put up, I think you over the long haul, it's a better decision for the organization. Am I saying that fans shouldn't be upset? Of course they should be upset. Had they paid Mookie Betts, they wouldn't even been in this situation where they felt like they had to pay Devers. On the adults in the room. I think this organization notices that there are certain things and certain flaws that they have now, saying like, hey, we need some guys that know how to win and know how to be here. Jerry Duran, I know people bring him up and saying, well, he's going to rally the troops and get everybody to play, to say, hey, everybody against the world. Don't be shocked if Jerry Duran is the next name on there. Don't be shocked, because for what he brings to the game, I spoke to a scout with the Twins a few weeks ago, and he said who was checking in on the offseason, and the general opinion of Duran from former employees of the Red Sox who got laid off, the general opinion was good player, too high maintenance.
Which means they'll dump him.
Yeah, they'll dump because now they have the model.
Yeah, now they get the model.
Now they say, "Oh, culture."
Yeah,
Joe, I know I'm not supposed to do it this way, but I had to do this because I found a little clip of the talking points for these guys. Can I play it this way? You are at that?
Do I have it?
Couldn't find alignment.
You failed to reach alignment.
In terms of the what was missing, it just was that alignment. We didn't get to the alignment that we needed. I thought we'd ultimately get to a place of complete alignment.
And like Sam said, ultimately we weren't able to achieve that alignment.
You can't find alignment with someone you've got a long-term commitment to. There's blame to go around on all sides when you can't get to alignment.
If I could just jump in.
I think people out of their mind.
Failing to reach that alignment. Ultimately, as Sam has pointed out, this kind of lack of alignment, we failed to reach that alignment.
We thought we had alignment, and when we came to the conclusion that we did not have a full alignment.
Chris, what is wrong with this? What? Oh my God.
That's what I was saying about the talking points. They all got the talking point. Hey, let's talk about it. Joe, should we talk about alignment today?
Oh,
please, God, no.
Oh,
the word of the day
is
alignment.
Alignment. Oh my God, is all I can say.
Right.
OMG. This is, Chris, I don't know what happened to this organization.
And then he wants to throw that whole, look at what we've done for the last 20-something years we've been here. We've won the most champions. There's no bigger loser quote. And I know we've heard it from over there in One Patriot Place too.
Yeah.
Yep. I know Belichick is, the last 25 years. He said,
Yeah.
But there's no bigger loser comment to make than to pull out your resume for the last 20-something years. That's like wearing a sign that's saying, I've effed up recently. I'm an F up. So let me go back and talk about all the successes we may have had before, Mark.
So this move, Chris, is so they're looking at what they have for young guys. They brought in a couple of more prospects, younger guys in this deal. Like they're looking more at like 2027, 28, Chris. They're looking like 2 years down the road, maybe 3. Hey, if these guys all develop like we think they could, we bring in some veterans where we don't going to pay a ton of money for them. We got a shot to really be a solid playoff team, maybe a contender for a championship. We're not worried about right now. We're not going to win right now. We're not winning right now. And they were okay with that. Let's dump money, right? Let's dump money. Let's build prospects.
I don't think they're ever going to want to spend money again. I don't think they're ever.
They may not have,
this guy's the owner.
But Chris, they may not have to. If these young guys all develop before they want big, before you got to pay them, you can bring in some low cost veterans, and you probably can make the playoffs like that, and they're okay with that. Do you know what I mean? They won't have to, because once they have to, then these guys would be gone. Now, what's funny, Chris, is so it's Anthony.
He went down today.
Yeah, that's what I was going to bring up. It's Anthony, it's Maya, and it's Campbell, right? Christian Campbell. Those three guys. You give Christian Campbell over $100 million to extend him because you think you're getting him at cheap money. Hey, we'll have control of him for the next 7-8 years. You know, when he becomes an MVP candidate, hey, whoa, we got him for cheap money. They just sent him down today because the kid can't hit a goddamn beach ball right now. So they sent him back to the minors. So listen.
And we played that cut. Remember, we played that cut on the show when we had it on about how they were pulling their own pants down, giving themselves pleasure over all the credit they got over Campbell.
Over Campbell. Their development program and what we do here and bop. Okay, really? Yeah, okay. Listen, and this is the problem that Cashman gets into with the Yankees too, Chris.
Yeah.
You got 3 guys, young guys. If one of those guys actually becomes what you think they can become, feel fortunate. If you get you're not going to get all 3. One of those guys is going to be a bust. And I told you from the beginning, Chris, that I thought it was going to be Campbell. I had no idea why they extended him like they did, because looking at him, me personally, he reminded me of this kid, Rafaela, who they gave money to last year. Okay, being a decent major league player, okay, fine, average major league player. Not going to be some great superstar. I just don't see that when I watch Campbell. I mean, what the hell do I know? I'm a dinosaur, right? But based everything I know about baseball, watching him, he could fool me. Or maybe they're going to get him in the laboratory in the winter, like they did with Jaron Duran, and give him some PEDs, and maybe he puts on 25 pounds of muscle like Duran did. Duran walked out like he was a bodybuilder after one winter because he did that naturally. But they kept keeping Barry Bonds and Mark McGwire out of the goddamn Hall of Fame.
Here we go.
Now you got me fired up tonight. Now, right?
Well, listen, we will see.
Bottom line is, Chris, this organization is a joke, and it's a mess, an absolute mess.
And now, they've been exposed.
And I'm going to tell you something. I could talk for another 20 minutes about the Yankees because they got me pissed off too. I could go on for another 20. The rest of the show.
You'd be taking it away from Catone's comments. That's up to you.
The rest of the show could just be about the Yankees because they're playing that badly.
I know. They're playing that badly, but they're not the laughingstock that the Red Sox are right now.
No, they're not the laughingstock that the Red Sox are. They're not.
All right, so before we get to Catone's comments, then just to give me one Yankee thing. Listen, what are they doing at the break? Pitching. They have Chris, they got 2 guys in the starting rotation who wouldn't be in the starting rotation if Ill and Cole were healthy. Those 2 guys should be your middle relief guys. They got no bullpen. They're using guys that, they got no bullpen. And fundamentally, Chris, they're flawed. Bad base running, getting picked off. I could go on and on, but that pissed me off. The fundamentals over the weekend past weekend against the Red Sox pissed me off, and the middle relief, the bullpen, Chris, is playing terrible. I mean, the base running, all of it. Volpe.
Yeah.
10th inning, stealing third with no outs.
Oh, you went bananas.
Dominguez, another base running issue. The base. You're right, Mark. We could go on forever and ever and ever.
We do got to talk about the Yankees next week if they continue playing like this, though, Chris, because there's a lot to talk about with them as well.
Yeah. So Yankees versus Red Sox was presented by Corso Law Group, corsolawgroup.com. Hey, we come back. He's already fired up. He's all red in the face. He looks like a plum. Looks like an eggplant. Stick around. Catone's comments is next.
No one ever thinks they will be in need of a criminal or traffic lawyer, but things happen. Corso Law Group is Arizona's leading criminal and traffic law firm. Call or go online to CorsoLawGroup.com and talk with these expert attorneys who I know will help.
Time for Catone's comment!
Okay. Oh, yes, I'm red in the face. I'm not even going to tell you what happened to me today, whatever you want to call it, eggplant color, whatever the hell you want to call it. I don't care. If you're listening on 790, you're going to go on and actually watch this particular show just to see what I look like. But anyways, so now this I hate this time of the year. We're going to be getting into July soon. And you know why I hate this time of the year? Because my wife already brought up something about the 3rd of July. They have fireworks over here and stuff, right? And I'm going to tell you why. The summer barbecue. The summer barbecue drives me out of my mind. Listen, send them, let them go to somebody else's house. Why is it always going to be my house? Come to my house. Yeah, summer barbecue. Okay. Well, so now, you have a barbecue, fireworks. It's July 3rd, whatever. Beautiful. Okay, first of all, it's not going to be 95 degrees outside. 100 degrees outside. The humidity, you want to take your shirt off and you twist it and you wring the water out. Wring it out, and then you put it back on. It's totally, Chris doesn't know out there. It's an oven, but at least he's not wringing his shirt out with the water. So 95 degrees, wonderful. And then we got to get a lot of ice. It's going to be hot. We got to get a lot of ice for the coolest. A lot of ice. First of all, everybody's getting ice. Where am I getting the ice from? What am I going to goddamn ice maker? There ain't a store in this rotten town that has ice. They're all sold out. I got to drive around. I got to drive all over creation to get ice. Okay.
Sold out of ice? It's just frozen water.
Chris, listen, ask Joe. You don't understand what goes on over here. You've been going 115 years. You don't know what goes on over here, right? So now, you can't get ice. Look, I get a few bags of ice. It's like you hit Powerball over here if you get the ice at that time of the year. Okay, fine, wonderful, get the ice. Okay, now, got extra bags of ice. You put it in the coolers. Now you got to put it in the freezer. I said, how am I going to fit it in the freezer? That's what the cooler's made for. You put it in there, don't melt. What the hell's the difference? No, you got to do it her way. Okay, well, I said, how do you expect that to happen? That can't happen. It's physically impossible to stick all this ice in a freezer. It's going to go in a cooler. I don't want to open it, but that's where it's going to sit. Okay, wonderful. Now, I hate the summer barbecue. Now you got all these people coming over. Who's got who's lactose intolerant? Who's got this kind of allergy? Who can't eat this? Whose ass breaks out in pimples if they eat something? I don't know what the hell they got going on, right? So they expect me to have a rap sheet of all this stuff and figure out who wants this, that. Listen. You got that many issues? Bring your own stuff. Bring it yourself. Just bring it. You want me to figure all that out? Then I got to buy all this different liquor, beer, this, that. And then I get the inevitable clown who asks me for Canadian Mist. No, it ain't Canadian Mist, buddy. It's a $150 bottle of bourbon, you imbecile. Right? So now, right? But despite all of that, you get there. It's 99 degrees. Why are we out? They don't want to go inside now. It's too hot. I'm sweating. So now it's indoors with the air conditioner. So why don't we start indoors? Now we're going to carry everything in the house. Now everything comes inside. It's not outside anymore. It's a indoor barbecue. Indoor. Just put on gravy, man. Put on the sauce and make macaroni. Maybe why are you doing this? What the hell's it there? They all end up in the house anyway. I hate summer barbecue. I hate it. Give me the winter. I hibernate. I'm in the house. I put the football game on, hibernate, and I don't go to see anybody. Nobody. It's beautiful. Beautiful.
Listen, so first of all, okay, we played sevens last night. It was 110. So don't give me that. It's dry. You sound like these other people. Oh, it's a dry heat, though. Tell you what you do. Turn your oven on to 115 degrees and stick your head in it. Okay. That's what the hell it feels like. Don't give me this nonsense that, all of a sudden now he's
turned into one of those now, Joe.
The ocean state. You guys with all the ocean breeze blowing on you and all that, you know what I mean? You're worried. What are you worried about? I keep telling him, Joe. And he's just, Joe, when is he going to listen to us?
Well, there is no listening. I don't know what to do.
I didn't go to a store. Well, I had to go find ice, but
no,
not today. Not today. This is not today. This is when this will inevitably. This will be happening in 2 weeks. It happens every year.
You don't have to. Okay, so good. It hasn't happened yet. So let's give you
2 weeks. 2 weeks it'll be happening.
Let's prep you now for what you need to do. Okay, here's the advice. Yes, you have to go. You have to go, but you don't necessarily have to find it, do you? You don't have to come home with the ice. We talk about have to.
Okay.
You don't hang on. Wait. You don't have to come home with the ice. You can come home with empty hands and say they didn't have any. They're all sold out. And then I know. I've known her as long as you, and I know the answer you're going to get back, and it's going to be, well, what are we going to do? She's going to look at you, say, well, what are we going to do now? Nothing. What are we going to do? We're going to give them warm beer.
There you go.
Warm water, warm this. Oh, you want to come in the house? The air conditioner is broken. It's okay. Everybody can come in if you want, but the AC is broken. Turn the heat on like 90. Okay. Then if you decide you want to cook on the grill, because I'm sure they're going to make you do it, and you'll
of course they are.
Worse than it does now. It'll be like, beat red. It'll get burned.
Dude, I got the mapina over my shoulder. I'm wiping my head.
Right.
I'm cooking on the grill. You know what I mean?
You need to burn the shit out of everything you make. Everything. Hot dogs need to look like somebody took a dump and they're putting it in a bun. That's
wrong with you?
What you need.
Joe, what's wrong with him, Joe?
Like a turd that's been sitting there for 4 or 5 days. That's what your hot dog should look like. And your burger should look worse. Then nobody will show up again. No one will ever come over again.
There's something wrong.
We're going to go to Catone's on. We're going to go to Catone's for the 4th. Oh, no.
I'm good.
Yeah, no. We got to come up with something. We got to come up with some reason. We can't go, honey.
And of course, she's as bad as your wife because you have enough food to feed 5,000 people. Like, who do they think's coming? You know what I mean? 5,000. You know how that is. 5,000 people. You got to have food for.
Like I want to run out.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
You got to do things to keep people away. I mean, it's just you got to. I mean, you've reached a point in your life. You just had a birthday recently. So did I. It gets to the point where we gotta work smarter or harder. Like how are we?
Yeah.
I mean, what are you worried about? Divorce?
Terrible.
Who cares?
There's something wrong with you. Really wrong with you.
At this stage, whatever. That's my dream. My dream is to sit here alone watching cartoons all day.
Cartoons, this kid.
Cartoons all day. You lost your mind.
My dream. And so you have this all happening soon then? You're
yeah, oh, absolutely. Yep. No, I know what's happening. It'll be happening. It happens every year. It'll be happening.
Well, then I think you need to, have the video out. I think you have to have the camera going, Joe. Don't you think we should have some footage from this?
I'll have my wife video me with the mapina, sweating bullets off the top of my head. Mine is dripping down my nose, the sweat. But I got the mapina over the shoulder. Oh, yeah.
We're going to play that. Yes, you need to do that. And like I said, I mean, for those of you out there that are listening, please stay away. He doesn't want you there.
No.
He doesn't want you there. I know you don't want to hear that on you. You think you're his best friend, but he doesn't want you there. I am. He doesn't want me there. So, that's it. Stay the frig home, everybody. I'm with Mark 100,000%. So Everybody stay home. Stop eating his food. Stop drinking his liquor. Stay out of his bourbon.
I don't mind if they were eating my food and drinking my liquor, but they don't even want to eat my food. They got special diets.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Poison them. Give them the stuff anyway. No, it's gluten-free. Here you go.
Yeah,
what can't you? Wait a minute. What can't you have? All right, good. No, we're good. We're good to go on that. Good to go. So, but Mark, it's all good stuff. All good stuff. Make sure you just, when the people show up, shut the AC off, shut everything down. Don't get any ice. Give them warm beer. Give them warm everything else, and then you'll be good to go. But good stuff, Mark. Catone's comments was presented by the Pats Nation Sundays, 8 a.m. Eastern. Hey, make sure you're tuning in tomorrow. We got to talk about the corner room. We're going to take a little trip around the NFL. We're going to talk about all the rooms now, see who we got going into camp, and so much more. But when we come back, we're going to talk a little B's and C's, no flipping.
Sundays are for football. And here in New England, that means it's the Pats Nation with Corso and Catone. Sundays, 8 to 9 a.m.
Back in with more Corso and Catone, the real deal, New England feel. All right, I know we're up against it, but we got to talk a little Bruins, talk a little basketball, do it in B's and C's. Joe?
Hit it! The Boston Celtics are the world champions, and they have shown the world how great a ball club they really are.
Screen shot,
Brad, congratulations. Listen, life changes quick. Nobody knows that better than you. You've talked so much this postseason about living in the moment. This is a pretty big one. How does it feel to be Brad Marchand living in it?
It's incredible. It's a feeling you can't really describe, and seeing the family and everyone up there and everyone that supported me and helped me get to this point. There's nothing. Words can't put this into reality. How great it feels, and such an incredible group. And everybody wrote us off from starting our playoffs. They had everybody beating us in every round, and we just had that fire, and we knew we had something special. And it's incredible. It's incredible to be part of this group right now.
The emotion is just radiating off of you. It wasn't that long ago. These guys were your most hated rivals. You're about to drink beer at the Stanley Cup with them. How would you describe how special the bond is that you've created with these guys?
We talked about before the game. It's such an incredible culture, and everyone that's come in here, it felt like we've been here for a lot longer than a few months, and it's a family. Guys love each other in this room, and you buy into it immediately. They embrace you. It's incredible.
Any chance you're back?
What?
Any chance you come back?
We'll see what happens here soon.
He's not going back.
Congratulations.
So that's, of course, Brad Marchand.
Yeah, he wanted to bash Bennett's brains in 5 months ago when he was in Boston.
Stanley Cup champion again, Brad Marchand with the Florida Panthers. Yeah, I'm happy for him too. I'm going
to tell you something. I watched a few of those games, obviously, right? I want to see Marchand, and I was watching it. I want to see Connor McDavid from Edmonton. But what that showed me, Chris, watching some of those games was, my God, how far away the Bruins are. Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
Like we're nowhere near contending. I don't care. I don't care. The new coach loves the roster. Okay, pal. Turn on the tape of these Stanley Cup games, and you'll see how far away your roster is, buddy.
I'll tell you something. This Connor McDavid, he best player in hockey, clearly.
But they can't win the cup.
Can't win, no.
Can't win the cup. That's a
he's
problem.
going to fall into one of those. He's going to become one of those Dan Marino kind of guys.
He might.
Best player to never win anything.
That's
a good show we should have someday. We should put a show together that says best players to never win a championship.
Yeah,
right?
That would be an interesting one. Yeah, that would be.
So, but congratulations to them. And yes, you're right. As it relates to the Bruins, more delusional stuff here in Boston. When we talked about the Red Sox, now we're talking about the Bruins, and because you had, again, this series showed me nothing more than you don't need to be paying through your ass for a goalie.
No, this guy's won 2 in a row. This guy's gotten hot in the playoffs. He's won 2 Stanley Cups in a row, the goalie, Chris.
Not even close to a Vezina type goaltender.
Nope.
At all.
Nope.
They gave the Vezina and the MVP to some goalie. I don't know who the hell it is. I forget who it is. That's the point. Who isn't even close to sniffing the championship. But the new coach.
We gave $8 million to that fool.
Right, and a half. But you know what? The new coach, he thinks we got no problem there, Mark. We're talking about Marco Sturm. Here he is.
I remember, this guy went through a lot, and I think as a player, you want to be a training camp. That's the biggest thing. And I don't care about if it's in hockey or basketball or whatever it is, right? You got to be there, and because otherwise you're just going to chase, all right? And that's what happened to him. And again, everyone could see it coming. Unfortunately, it came through, and he never really recovered. But he's an outstanding goalie, and you could see it right now. He's in a good spot because he just got back from the Worlds. All right, I think that was really important. Now the coaching changed, so again, he's very excited, and we have a great 2 goalies. All right, so and I might expect a lot out of him, but he knows it too.
I think that Marco Sturm, it's a head coach of the Bruins. I think he's drinking that Canadian Mist at Mark's party, Joe. I mean, hey, man, we got 2 great goalies, He didn't get into camp on time. This was the problem. And then this was his excuse for Swayman. He didn't show up at camp on time, and he just chased that all year long.
Yeah. Okay.
For 80 games, he chased that, Mark.
He chased that for 80 games. Yeah.
Or whatever it was, or whatever he got there.
Whatever.
Yeah. What the hell what is that?
That's a bunch of garbage, please. Listen, the problem is, Chris, you're stuck with him. What are you going to do? No one's taking that contract. You're stuck with him. You're stuck with him for a long time because no one's ever going to take that contract from you.
So, well, congratulations to the Panthers and Marchand. And just really quick on the NBA Finals. Now, we're recording on Thursday, and so they're playing game 6
Game
tonight.
6
and I
Indiana.
think it's over. Yeah. I mean, I think Halliburton's going to be hurting. He's hurting.
He's even questionable tonight. If he plays, he's not going to be 100. He's not nowhere near 100%.
Oklahoma's going to win the series. But, Mark, quickly, for a minute, what does this say, though? Because I thought Boston would have a real tough time with OKC, even fully healthy, all of that.
I didn't think so. Remember, I said all year, if Boston's healthy, I said I don't think OKC is as good as everyone thinks they are. And I know you thought, I don't know, Mark, they're a good team. You said even with Boston healthy, I don't know if they can beat this team. I haven't been impressed with OKC. Have you?
No, and I think you were right. I think a fully healthy Boston Celtics team beats the hell out of any of these teams, any of them. So
OKC might have won a couple of games. I get that, but
I think
Boston would have beat that team in 6 or 7. I personally think probably 6.
Okay, so that being said, even with Tatum gone, do you then do something like Porzingis for Durant? Getting a third team involved to make the money work. Do you try then? Do you not blow this thing up? Even though Tatum's not going to be out, is going to be out for, 30 seconds, Mark. What do you think?
I think if Tatum was healthy, Chris, they would do it. I think there's less of a chance of doing it now because if you bring in Durant and maybe a couple of cheap guys, whatever, is Durant?
I'm saying keeping Brown.
Keeping Brown, but that's going to make you a championship team? I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I'll tell you what, those teams in the East. Those teams in the East, it still makes you better than those teams in the East.
Yeah, it does. If Tatum was here, Chris, healthy, I think the Porzingis deal and bringing in Durant might have been something they would have entertained even more just because I think Durant with those guys, might have put you over the top more so than Porzingis. But I don't know, Chris. I don't know if they'll pull that deal. I still think Drew Holiday may go.
Well, we'll see what happens in the all summer. We Missoula's still a lame duck coach. We'll see how that thing plays out too. So stick around for that. But Corso Catone was presented by the Pats Nation Sundays, 8 a.m. Eastern. Hey, we're going to have coming up tomorrow. We're going to talk about our corner room. We're going to talk about the entire roster, all the rooms, see what kind of competitions they're going to have going into camp. And also this summer, stick around for some special shows on the Pats Nation and Corso and Catone. So make sure you're tuning into both shows. Anything you bring to the table, we will always be ready. We are Corso and Catone, the real deal, New England feel. See you next week.
Now find Corso and Catone on AM 790, The Score, iHeartRadio, iTunes, wherever you podcast. Or subscribe to the YouTube channel and catch the chaos every Saturday at noon.